Alright, so I went to Menards and got some breakers today. One of the things that I'm going to try and do, well, one of the things I know I'm going to do now is, first off, I'm going to make a 3-pole breaker for the feed out to the slave motors, the motors that are going to drive, in this case, the planer for starters. But I wound up pricing an actual factory-made 3-phase breaker, and it was like 60 bucks. So I decided to just build my own. Anyway, one of the things I'm going to have to do is, one, I want to glue them together. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't need to glue them together, but because of what I'm going to do with the breaker for the manufactured leg, it's going to need the additional support of the other 2 breakers. And I'll show you why here towards the end of this video. Another thing I'm going to have to do is link all 3 of the handles together so that if one circuit trips or one pole trips, all 3 will trip. That's where that little piece of wire is going to come into play at. The third thing is I need a way to put my manufactured leg onto the input of the breaker. Now this is one of the things that don't ever try at home sort of situation, but this is how I'm going to do it. This lug will slide right up into the connection on this thing, and I will connect my manufactured leg right there. So anyways, is it code? Absolutely not. Am I going to burn my garage down with it? No, definitely not going to do that either. But that also doesn't mean anybody else should ever even think about doing this sort of thing. So I'm going to try, first off, to put these together with caulking and see if it'll give me enough adhesive ability. If it doesn't, if they pull apart, then I'll go to some epoxy or something. One other thing I came up with is, I don't know how well it'll show, but I'm going to snag this piece of, I'm assuming it's phenolic board material. I'm going to grab this out of this panel, and I'm going to use it underneath that pole when it's installed in the breaker panel. But first things first, I'm going to start seeing if this caulking will adhere these together well enough or not. See if I even got enough caulking in here to do it. About the end of the road for this tube of caulking, but let's see if I can, yeah. Most of the caulking, or part of the caulking, is bypassing inside this inside the tube itself, but Alright. Well, bottom line is, if this doesn't work, I'll put the breakers together with some epoxy. I lost my workbench. Alright, let's see. I guess I ought to try caulking this guy in place as well. See if I can get that to work. Okay. Alright. Well, tomorrow when that sets up, I can get the excess caulking off of it. But at any rate, let me show you the space that these breakers are going to take up inside the panel. I got to be careful because I've got the panel live now. So anyways, let's see here. You see how I've got the last two poles on the breaker panel available right there? But I just so happen to have one more mounting tab above them. So I'm going to try and take advantage of that. The third breaker is going to mount there, be adhered to the other two breakers here, and then the manufactured leg will go in right there. So if I can get these things to stick to one another effectively, that should work like a charm, I think. And hopefully when it's all said and done, I'll have just enough room in this panel to do all the circuits that I want to do. I'm going to have to double some stuff up, but possibly. Well, I've already got some things doubled up, but such is life. I can live with that. Bottom line is, I just want to have every branch circuit on the appropriate size breaker. So that's one thing I currently don't have. To make these machines work, I wound up having to use a 30 amp double pole for some of it because I was trying to get too much out of the circuitry that I had. So this is going to be changed to a 20 amp double pole, and this is going to be changed to a 20 amp double pole. This is my water pump. This is the circuit that I've got for the Hindi lathe, the Logan lathe, and the Cochrane Bly at the moment. So eventually this is going to be swapped out and done a little differently, but for starters at least, 20 amp double poles will get me going in the right direction on that. So anyways, it's getting less cobbled by the day, but it's never going to be, you know, the way I would like it to be in my dream shop. If I had my dream shop, this would be a 3-phase panel. So it is what it is. At any rate, as long as I keep it from burning my garage down and keep people safe. That's all I care about.